That one's on.
All right, at this time, we'll start the Public Safety Committee meeting. Please take the roll.
Trustee Butler,
Here.
Trustee Holdman,
Here.
Trustee Huber.
Here.
All right.
Are there any persons desiring to be heard? None. Consideration of the April 21st minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Can she second if she wasn't part of it?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I'll second it. Yeah, Eric, I mean. All in favor?
Aye.
That's the minutes. Okay, so we'll begin with the report from Chief Katz for the fire department.
Good evening. As you can see in the report, it's very similar to the one from the second quarter as far as calls. You'll see that we're at 119 for this quarter. We have a total of 233 calls for the year. Response times, the first quarter we were at, for emergent response times, it was at 7.5 minutes. It's up 18 seconds. But overall, all response times are actually down 4 seconds. So if you take the totality of all the calls, it was at 8 minutes, 22 seconds for all calls was the average in the first quarter. And then this quarter, we're down to 8 minutes, 18 seconds.
So this 748, that does not include non-emergent? Is that my understanding?
That's correct.
Okay,
we
so that's,
wash out and just do the emergent response.
okay, good,
Yeah, that's
good.
Yep.
yeah.
So it kind of gives you an idea, but then
Yep.
we do the overall and provide that to you as well. And just to kind of break it down for you, because I know you've asked in the past. Station 22, which is the primary station, handled 112 of those 119 calls. 5 of them came from Station 1. This quarter, there were 2 calls from Station 23, and their response times up here were 11 minutes, 18 seconds, which was a non-emergent one, but then they got an emergent call, and they got up here at 9 minutes, 15 seconds. So, other than that, the various activities, you can see how it's broken down. There was just 1 fire. There were 78 EMS calls, no hazardous situation calls, 17 service calls, and then 23 non-emergency. And those are canceled calls, assist police, false alarms, or there was no incident found when we arrived. So that's why you call them. It's kind of the new nomenclature of how we report out to the federal government. So that's kind of what
Okay.
it is now. As far as fire prevention activities, for this quarter, we had 1 activity, and we came in contact with 250 people. Compared to the first quarter, we had 3 activities and 174 contacts. We kind of expect that in the third quarter now to kind of speed up because that'll be in July. There's numerous things planned. We had all the 4th of July activities, Love Derby Days, stuff like that, National Night Out. So we expect that to kind of increase in the third quarter. As far as other activities that are related to Butler, we had a total of 12 activities, and those could easily be like fire inspection activities, pre-plan activities, training hours, permits reviewed, for a total of 153.5 hours. Most of those are going to be like training hours and inspections up here, and we're easily like past the halfway point on fire inspections. Right, and I can kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown on the fire inspection activity. To date, is that we have 2 total inspections, 228, and we have roughly about 25 of them that are still pending with some sort of violation. Otherwise, we've been able to correct their violations in a timely fashion.
Is it the goal to get through the whole village by the calendar year?
But yeah, we have to get through the entire village by the end of the year, and that's how we've structured. We've structured roughly about 20 to 30 inspections a month. That should get us through
Okay.
through the entire.
And then what happens in the next year then?
Then we just start the whole process all over again.
Really?
We-
Okay.
We work on follow-up inspections to make sure
Yeah.
violations are corrected so that they don't
Yep.
carry over year to year. But then you start the whole process all over.
Okay, so everybody gets inspected once a year?
Yep.
Okay.
And then breakdown of the EMS calls to date. You can see the different, kind of just lump them in big groups is with breathing problems, cardiac problems, obviously 21 breathing problems, 6 cardiac problems, 42 falls, and that's kind of like normal. Falls are a big part. Medical, I'd say medical, but illness is 49. Injuries or trauma is 21 calls, and then strokes are 4 different calls. So that's kind of a breakdown of where we are to date. And it's pretty much like what we planned out last year when we were making our pitch and reviewing all the information. We're on track for about 450 calls. You know, the response times are going to be, you know, around 7.5 to 8. In our inspections. Now we have those broken out. We have our process down. Those are moving along quickly as well.
Seems like it's going great.
Question I did have is, are you guys going to be continuing on with something that, I mean, the last fire department, they did a lot of what you guys just had the other night down here, down the road, of someone being locked out of their apartment and you guys are called out and to open up someone's apartment door because you guys have a Knox box key. Is that something you guys plan on continuing, or is something that you're trying to wean that off?
Depending, historically, it's one of those things where we've done it as a service call, so it's non-emergent. We verify their identity, and if we have troubles with that, then we involve the police. So there's things that go along with it. Obviously, if it becomes, it's one of those things that we've noticed an increase in the trend of people calling us to utilize the Knox box if they get locked out. If it gets to be unsustainable where we can't manage that and it starts to impede on our emergency responses, you're going to probably see us institute a fee as like a deterrent.
I mean, I'd be all for that because you guys come in is a cost, right? I just don't see the benefit of someone can't wait for either management to get there or whatever to place a call to you guys to clear a house. And now you guys are away for someone to get into their apartment. I think it's kind of not a good use of anybody's time.
If you're on a call like that, are you in service?
Yeah, we would, when calls start to come in, we can easily pen the non-emergent calls and take,
Yeah,
priority
okay.
to the emergent.
Yeah.
So we do that all the time.
Yeah.
And we have that happen at least when you have storms. That's where we really
Sure.
practice
I'm
that
sure.
to a T, because you have like a lot of tree downs or
Yep.
blocked roadways, and we have
Right.
to send all those calls for
Right.
the emergency
Sure.
calls, before fire.
Mhm.
Those are all built for calls.
Thank you.
Any other questions for fire? Excellent, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Chief Zuzki.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening, Chief.
So just going through the list of the report that everyone has provided, personnel updates, had a couple of anniversaries in the last quarter. So Officer Bartosik, May 23rd, completed 3 years with our department. June 7th, Officer Longross completed 3 years with our department. And June 13th, Captain Benson completed 4 years with our department. So continuing to get that experience and years of service with our personnel. So that's always good to see. Training updates, I totaled it up. We did 296 hours of training in the last quarter. Some of those are listed here, but included our 4 hours of firearms training with our Lakes area group, the other agencies that we train with, focusing on those topics, including handgun and rifle, live fire shooting, out at the Oconomowoc Lake Range where we train in the summer and fall months. And then we also did 4 hours of defensive tactics. We focused a lot on use of force decision-making. We did scenario-based training, which included ground defense techniques, control techniques. So those are important that it's not just doing the hands-on type of stuff, but it's seeing the decision-making that goes into it. Right? When you face a situation or scenario, it's not just what the physical outcome is, but it's how you got there, working on ways you can de-escalate it, ways you can learn to talk to people different ways. So that's really important training, and it's good to see that we're going to continue to do that and grow that program. Also, during the second quarter, you can see the list of some of the specialties that are on there. Those are all classes that were outside of the department. So we're either sending individuals to those trainings, and then what we've really been working on too is somebody goes to a training class that maybe just 2 people go to. We had one, I don't know if it was this quarter or last, but we had domestic violence training class we sent 2 officers to. So not everybody in the department gets that training, but we said, you were there for 2 days. What can you bring back to the department and share with everybody else that you learned there? So it's kind of like trying to get a return on our investment to say, like, we're going to send some people, we can't put everybody through, but what are the highlights that you took away from that? So, everyone can learn from us sending people to outside training. So
That's great.
I firmly believe in that, and I think it's making us better. Going on to page number 2 there, some miscellaneous updates. Our new lockers are installed and up and running. Very positive feedback, looks very professional. No complaints whatsoever about the new locker room. So
Looks nice.
yeah, thank you.
It looks nice.
Thanks again for that upgrade to our department and for our guys. We did receive in this quarter our $50,000 interoperability radio grant. And those funds, as will be discussed future, but those are going to be directly towards our new radio upgrades that, as we've talked about, are needed before the end of 2029. I did get an updated radio quote directly from Motorola. Is actually a little bit less than the one we got at the end of last year. So we're right around the $113,000 range. And that would be for our portable radios that we carry on us, some additional spares, and then all of our mobile radios that we need. So we'll start working through that. But that $50,000 grant is going to be pretty significant, right? And making sure that we have the equipment we need.
And we're going to get rolling on that long before 2029, correct?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So the grant process is already in place. So there's some benchmarks and some things we got to do.
Yep.
But yeah, I would think that we would probably come and make a request in the coming months or discuss it
Yep.
to say that we're ready to move forward. I think cost wise, I don't see radios getting any cheaper in the next 2 years.
No,
Either.
right. We talked about that. I agree, right? There's no sense waiting. We need them, and why go for another increase when everybody else is going to be starting to jump on? So if we can get it quicker.
That's the other challenge. As we get closer to that deadline, you're going to see all the Waukesha County agencies, and there could be a backlog with radio services. So I think we're in a really good spot. So that's good to hear. We also received $1,100 for our bulletproof vest grant that we wrote for, and that was reimbursement for vests that were purchased in 2025. That covers a portion of what we spent to utilize for new body armor. They have about 5-year. The National Institute of Justice is a 5-year kind of like recommendation on when those will be worn and or replaced. Just a couple notes on there. Some things that we did at St. Agnes in the spring and into the summer. Always like being up at the school, and they're very receptive to having us there. So we went and hung out at recess one day. We did our bike rodeo, bike safety with the 3rd graders, the kindergartners, and had a good time there. We stepped out into Brookfield and participated with Chick-fil-A Family Night at their request. They're a good neighboring partner to us, and it was a good PR event for the department, even though it was just outside the village. And Officer Knapp had very positive feedback. I got a really nice email from the restaurant management thanking us for our assistance with that community event. Officer Ratzloff, he will be the next president of the statewide Wisconsin Association for Identification. So that's a association that deals with basically property and evidence collection. So he's been on the board of directors for like 4 years now, and next year he'll become the president. So he's happy to be in that role, but he'll be representing our department with that statewide organization moving forward. As many of you saw, our e-bike is now in service and operational. Made its debut on the 4th of July, so that was a success. A lot of positive feedback that the captain received from being out on that, riding around, talking to people. So again, I think it's going to be a good community engagement tool for us. Just a positive thing to give us other options within the department. And it's just a side note, we've processed 108 open records requests throughout the first 6 months of 2026. So what does 108 mean? It means we're dealing with them almost every day on some capacity or the other. And when I put that down, it's like open records request is not just filing a report and sending it to someone. We had a recent one where we had, I think it was 7.5 hours of video that had to be physically like watched and redacted portions of it that can't be released. So it's just kind of a labor intensive process. Melinda does the majority of the videos and she's really good at it. So that's something that myself or the captain typically have to review though before we release them along with our response letters. So I pointed out just because it's time consuming, but it's an important part of our job.
There's a lot. That's a lot of records.
Yeah. So with video, there's pros and cons, and that's one of the challenges.
Mhm.
Is just the time spent.
Just to step back, one bullet point here. The e-bike, is all the officers going to be trained with that? And because that's different uniforms and there's different trainings. Everybody doing it, or do you have a select few that'll be
Yes.
utilizing that?
So what we initially did was gauge interest on it, and there's the majority of the officers are interested. Where would probably be less utilized would be like on third shift patrols, partly because of the personnel. Like we're not going to put the bike out when there's one officer on, but everyone does have an interest in it. So we're working through finalizing what the uniform looks like, and then I discussed with you, but finalizing some training. So
Yep.
there's not a required training, although there maybe should be to ride a bike. But there's not required training, but there is a standard for Police Motorcycle Bike Association that provides training for different techniques, officer safety techniques, mounting and dismounting a bike in emergency, riding up and down stairs, things you wouldn't maybe normally think of. So
I think it's great, right? You guys drive cars every day to and from work, but there's special training for your squad cars. So not quite as intense, but
yeah, good example. So probably not everybody, but the majority, I would think by, at least certainly by next summer, because we have to find the training. So.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then National Night Out is coming up very quickly for us. So a lot of hours that we spent putting that together. We also appreciate all the volunteers that have stepped up to help us, including people in this room. But we know that event, which will be another great event, can't take place without everybody putting in their time and effort. It's a great event for our community. We want to see it continue, and certainly appreciate all the assistance that we receive and the effort that our staff puts into that. And then also currently, our department is participating in training with City of Brookfield police and fire departments on active threat response and rescue task force concepts. This is throughout the month of July. I was just there today with 2 of our officers all day today. We have another training set up with them next week. So as I told the officers that were and the fire department members that were out there, we appreciate that partnership. And I think it just, again, speaks to the relationships that we've all built. But both when we need to rely on them, but also understanding that even as a small agency, there are no boundaries when emergency happens. So it's some good training. We've gotten good feedback on it. And we appreciate our partners. And then just working on finishing up the budget. It's pretty much complete. You won't see anything significant related to capital requests this year. We can certainly talk more about that, but I think we're in a really good spot after some of the things that have been purchased the last few years, including our squad car rotation situation. So we can talk more about that with the budget process. But from the police department, we understand there's other departments that have needs and other things besides just us. So this year we're probably going to be able to take a little step back without losing much traction. So it should be a good thing for everyone.
So next year we'll talk about a vehicle versus this year.
I think that's going to be our plan. Yeah.
Okay. Another question I did have on squad cars or vehicles is there was a pretty drastic change in miles, like 2,759 drastic. That's a lot of change in vehicle usage. I'm just trying to understand why that would be so big.
My instinct tells me it's because of off time. So January through March, if I looked at the number of shifts that were worked, they're probably much larger than April through the end of June because of vacations and other reasons that there's less people here. I just put the comparison. So this is fairly new that we're comparing these things.
Well, I'm happy you are, then I don't
Yeah,
have
right.
to have to go back, right? I mean, I could do that, but you did it for us, so I appreciate that part of it. And it's a pretty big jump,
Yeah, I mean, when you say that.
or
that is-
pretty big tank, I should say, like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of mile, we're not a big village, that's a lot of miles that we don't have an officer on the street.
Yeah, and I guess that's something I can certainly track and look at more, but I don't have an exact answer as to why it's that significant. Other than potentially, again, certain times of the year, there's more people that are maybe not here as often. Incident data, just to cruise through that. Some of the highlights that I look for when we run these reports, we run them every week, but when we look at them every month or over the course of several months, things maybe stand out or don't. One of the things we always certainly look at is like violent crimes, like armed robberies, maybe even like burglaries, motor vehicle thefts, things like that would affect individuals on the street or in their neighborhood. Those numbers continue to stay low. And again, I think that attributes to our proactive style of policing, being visible in the neighborhoods, being visible on the main streets with our lights on, pulling cars over, and then finding that balance of how we patrol the neighborhoods and do our community policing along with preventing some of that flow over crime that we occasionally see. And then just on to arrest data, quite a variety of arrests over the quarter. A lot of those, I mean, I will point out a lot of those, like the possession of THC, the wanted individuals, operating after revocations. A lot of those are self-initiated. So those are, again, our officers out there looking for certain things or finding those things versus, a battery or disorderly conduct that might get called into us. So it's a lot of proactive work by our officers that are finding things and taking things off the street. Two of our guys are out at the jail right now from an arrest earlier today. So we had 15 individuals that were cited and released, 15 that went to jail on criminal charges, seized 225 grams of marijuana. Our squad was just sold on the 2nd. Thanks to President Kasdorf and everyone who assisted with getting that on the auction site. So that's no longer in our fleet. Trustee Baylor touched on the mileage, and again, it's something that we just kind of started comparing. So we'll continue to look at that and see if we can find some patterns or trends in that regard. And then the last page, our Skateland summary. And Nick from Skateland is here tonight, so he's happy to address anything that you guys might have or see. Nothing significant on our end that stands out. The calls for service I looked up, and there was nothing concerning or significant on my end. We did, if you remember, change the hours on Saturdays a few months ago on the conditional use permit. I feel like it's been a positive result. You can speak with Nick, but we talked about that. And then just as a side note, our relationship is good with the security and staff at Skateland. Last weekend, we had some information that there may have been an event taking place that wasn't sanctioned by Skateland. We were in contact with Nick and his staff. Nothing ended up coming of it, but we were prepared both on our end and Skateland. So we have a good relationship where, again, when we see things or get information that there might be something taking place there, they've been very cooperative with us on that too. So I just want to point that out.
That's great. We appreciate, Nick, we appreciate you always coming and being here for any questions that we have.
No news is good news. Yep. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Chief.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's at 5:24.